This is the Boston Celtics newsfeed on CLNS. Today is Monday, January 29th, 2018. This is Mike Walsh reporting for CLNS, the leading online provider of audiovisual coverage for the Boston Celtics. The Celtics wrap up their West Coast swing tonight out in Denver in what is a very important game. Thanks to the recent slide by Boston, the Toronto Raptors are now just one game behind in the Eastern Conference standings. The two squads are tied in the loss column with 15 apiece, but the Celtics own 2 wins in hand. The Raptors, who are also 5-5 in their last 10, do own a plus 7.3 point differential, which does dwarf Boston's plus 4.4. The Nuggets are 26-23 and cling to that final playoff spot in the West Field. On tonight's injury report for Boston, both Marcus Smart and Gershon Yabusele remain out with their respective hand and ankle injuries. Smart is not with the team at all, instead flying back home to Boston late last week after quote-unquote swiping at a picture frame and cutting his hand. Also of note, Terry Rozier is 50-50 to play and likely a game-time decision per Adam Himmelsbach of the Boston Globe. As Colin Letter reported on the newsfeed yesterday, Rozier tweaked his ankle during the loss to the Golden State Warriors Saturday night. For the Nuggets, Paul Millsap is inching closer to a return around the All-Star break, but does remain sidelined with a wrist injury that has kept him off the court since mid-November. Also of note, rookie Tyler Lydon had arthroscopic surgery on his left knee per Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN, and will miss the next 4 months. Lydon had played just one NBA game, but was suiting up regularly in the G League. Wilson Chandler is also questionable with an illness per TJ Miller of Mile High Sports. He played just 9 minutes Saturday, despite averaging over 30 a game. You all know that SeatGeek is the smartest, easiest, and most reliable way to get tickets to every type of live event. That includes Celtics games. The Celtics are finally back home after a long West Coast road trip, so why go anywhere else for your tickets? Especially when CLNS is going to hook you up with $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Go to SeatGeek.com or download the SeatGeek app to your phone, use their value system to find the right tickets for you, and then just enter the promo code GARDENREPORT. That's all one word, promo code GARDENREPORT for $20 off, only through our friends at SeatGeek. After an injured groin kept him out of a loss to Cleveland yesterday, former Celtic Avery Bradley was dealt another blow. Rumors are circulating now that the Detroit Pistons are shopping their defensive specialist, whom they acquired in a trade with Boston over the offseason. Bradley is averaging 15 points per game and shooting 38.1% from beyond the arc, but just 40.9% overall. Recently, his trademark defense has been called into question as well. The Pistons are 22-26, have lost 8 straight, and could just be looking for a scapegoat in advance of the trade deadline. Per Wojnarowski, the Pistons waived Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and had plans to re-sign Bradley long-term, but are now looking to move him before he enters unrestricted free agency this summer, where they could risk losing him for nothing. While the road hasn't been incredibly kind to Boston of late, ESPN's feelings remain unchanged. The Celtics hold steady at number 3 in this week's power rankings, released Monday behind number 1 Golden State and number 2 Houston. Per Michael Schwartz, the Celtics have managed an 8-6 record since Christmas on the strength of defense alone, as they own the second worst offensive efficiency in the league during that span. Hot on their heels in the actual standings, the Toronto Raptors rank 4th here as well, followed by Minnesota, Oklahoma City, San Antonio, Cleveland, Portland, and Miami in the top 10. Reminder that CLNS Media has you covered today. Go back to this morning, listen to Josue Pavone with the pregame report. He had on guest Brendan Voigt of Mile High Sports out in Denver to preview the game this morning. You can check that out on the Boston Celtics newsfeed. Tune back in tonight when Connor Peterson will have your post-game recap once again here on the newsfeed. Until then, be sure to follow CLNS on Twitter at CLNS Media and at Celtics CLNS, and myself at CLNS_Walsh, and subscribe to the Celtics newsfeed both on iTunes, Stitch, and the CLNS Media Network's mobile podcast app. This has been Mike Walsh for the Boston Celtics newsfeed.